Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will talk about the case that shook the country of Japan in 2017. This is the case of Takahiro Shiraishi, Japan's Twitter killer. Shiraishi was born on 1990, grew up as a quiet schoolboy, and he was described as a good listener. And although a quiet type of person, he was able to socialize when needed. He had a close relationship with his family, very close to his parents. He also had a sister. His ex girlfriend described him as a very gentleman who never get angry with women. After graduating in high school, he worked full time at a supermarket for 2 years. He then worked as a sex scout in Kabukicho, Tokyo's biggest red light district. It is said that in this area of Japan, you can even buy women on iPad. Here, he persuaded young women to work as prostitutes and getting money from it. He was caught and was given a suspended sentence. In June of 2017, he told his father that he doesn't know why he was still alive. His father noticed that his behavior was changing but did not really take it as something to worry about. In August 2017, he moved to a one bedroom apartment in Zama, Kanagawa Prefecture, Tokyo. Then on the 31st of October, same year 2017, police went to his apartment in response to a report. They found multiple coolers and boxes. When they opened it, nine human heads and hundreds of bones have shocked them. He was immediately arrested and then taken into custody. The police began their investigation. The police identified the victims, eight women and one man. A gag order was placed to protect their identities. They were referred to as victims A to victim I, which is what I will follow as well. And in respect to the family left, I will not be disclosing their identities. The authorities found out that all of the women victims were women he met on Twitter. Shiraishi have created two Twitter accounts. One is showing his profile as a suicide guru who helps people end their lives named Hangman, while the second account he pretended to be a forlorn man, hoping to find people to have suicide pacts with. During the trial, it was revealed that he would befriend these women and pretend to really care about them. He would then flatter them with appreciation and sweet nothings. Once the trust is built, he would ask them to go to his apartment where he would give them drinks mixed with drugs. And then he would rob them with whatever money they have. All eight women were raped before they were murdered. He said in the trial that after dismembering their bodies in his bathroom, he would throw their flesh like trash and keep their bones and heads, fearing of being caught. He'd put them in coolers and boxes and filled it with cat litter to hide the smell. These women were going through tough times in their lives. They might have been going through the darkest times of their lives when they met Shiraishi. It was established that although they had thoughts of suicide, in the days before their murders, they had changed of hearts and were making plans for their future. Victim A was 21 and was applying for new jobs. Victim B was just 15 years old and felt pressured in meeting Shiraishi because of their 10-year age gap and almost didn't show up to his apartment. Victim C was a male friend of victim A. He investigated his friend's disappearance and was close to discovering Shiraishi's crime, so he was killed. Victim D was 19. She was so excited to finally become an adult. She bought a new kimono to celebrate her 20th birthday, which is called in Japan the coming of age celebration. Victim E was 26. She had divorced with her husband and was a loving and devoted mother to their child. Her husband was actually trying to work things out between them when she was murdered. Victim F was only 17, who dreamt of becoming a nurse. Victim G was also 17. She loved to cook and promised her father that they would make gyoza together. Victim H was 25. She was saving up for a future family. She wished to get married someday and have a beautiful family of her own. And lastly, victim I. She was 23. Her mother died in June of that same year, 2017. She was depressed. Her brother was doing his best to help her go through the toughest time of their life. When she did not come home, her brother looked for her in all the places he could think of. He then hacked her Twitter account to check all the messages. It is where he found the messages his sister exchanged with Shiraishi. He reported it to the police, which led them to go to Shiraishi's apartment on the 31st of October 2017, where they discovered 9 human heads and 240 bones in coolers and boxes. Shiraishi said that all he wanted was love, a woman who will love him and support him financially. He said he wished to find a woman with so much money he will not need to work ever again. He thought he found love when he met victim A. 21-year-old victim A thought of suicide once when her best friend committed suicide. After they met in Twitter, they had become very close. When victim A demanded for him to pay the money he owed her, they had an argument, and he struck her from behind, ended up killing her. And when no one found out, he thought he will never get caught and he can continue on killing. He said he chose women who had worries and problems because he thought it would be easier to deceive or persuade them. He also said it would be easier for him to operate. His defense argued that Shiraishi is only guilty of a lesser crime because he murdered them with consent and that they wanted to die. However, during the trial, it was established that these people had a change of hearts and were making plans. Yes, they had thoughts of ending their lives, but they didn't want it anymore. They wanted to live. Also, Shiraishi disputed his defense argument, telling the court that he murdered them all without consent and that he is guilty of killing them all. When asked how he felt about what he did, he said it was a very comfortable and pleasurable life. He failed because he was caught. He doesn't have any other feelings. He was also asked how he would react if the same things were done to his mother and sister. He said that he would kill whoever will do this to them. He told his family to forget that he exists and to move on with their lives. One of the parents of the victim said, he felt like he was being killed when listening to Shiraishi's detailed account of what he did. He did not show any remorse at all. He was sentenced to death on the 15th of December 2020. In Japan, death penalty is carried out by hanging. Inmates in death row are not given prior notice. They will only know it's their time when they are approached in the morning of their execution. Shirishi was interviewed the morning after his sentencing. He told the media that he still wishes to find a woman to marry, someone who will visit him in prison and bring him things he needs. Japan has one of the highest suicide rates for decades now. Although it had been going down as the government implemented measures of prevention, this is still so tragic. This opened debates on how suicide is being talked about online. Social media is a great tool when used appropriately. Yes, it is easier to pour our hearts out to strangers compared to our families and friends for fear of judgment. we still need to be very careful. We will never know someone for who they truly are online. And when you're meeting someone in person who you initially met online, please tell a friend about it. Write it down on your planner or calendar. Bring your friend with you. Meet in public places where other people can see you. If you are someone who is suffering emotionally or has thoughts of ending your life, please speak to someone about it. Reach out to the right people.